It's the return of Gex. Poltergex is the name of this level because this game loves puns. And to be fair, I don't necessarily oppose that. Ooh, smash 8 blood coolers this time. Oh, game, you're spoiling me with a mission that I've seen before.
Red rum.
For our third main level of this horror visual style. Like I've said before, I think they just really loved this, the developers. Which is a surprise that it's not the dominant thing in Gex 3, actually, come to think of it. That one. Interestingly, like every level in Gex 3 has a different style of, like, setting and everything.
Man, heavens, let this place go.
Which is quite a change. Maybe one of these days I'll play Gex 3, but I don't actually think it's as good as this game. Oh god, yeah, it's... it's a 90s platformer camera, but probably worse than usual, actually. Oh god, from a certain angle, I thought that painting was res, but it's not. It's just some dude. Not whatever res you're possibly thinking of. I mean the one from this game. Just went ding. I think I heard something in the background that made a weird ding noise. Not that. That's the game being like, hey, you can't turn the camera that way. I don't feel like letting you. Thank you, 1990s. I am so glad we're beyond that. At bare minimum, usually at least the camera angles are a little bit better in 3D games nowadays. People sorta know what they're doing with that, I think. Oh, this table is just sitting here. That's gotta be for something, right? Like, otherwise, it's just kind of an odd design choice. Well, there's an ice fly. We don't get to see those very much. And of course, the ice power is basically just a differently flavored version of the fire power in this game, unfortunately. More or less. Like, I guess you can freeze enemies with it, but I don't know that that actually does anything special in any particular case. Like, you might be able to stand on some enemies, but I don't know how often that's actually useful. Certainly in here it's kind of silly. Or in there, anyway. Oh. That's a bottomless pit.
Beat the Matterhorn, what are you gonna do?
I think... Well, I can tell, at least at bare minimum, that there's some sort of puzzle involved with getting that silver remote. Which is an interesting change, I think.
Mine, this is mine.
I mean, some of them have been a little bit of platforming puzzling, but that's not the same. That looks like we're gonna have to actually, like, press a switch or something to open that up. Oh, that chunk of the wall tried to bite me. There's a lot of those over there.
What's that, Mr. Bug? Timmy's trapped down a well?
Well, fine. I wanted to show that off. I wanted to show somebody getting turned into an ice cube, but No, the game didn't like me doing that for some reason. All right. Fine. Yeah, judging by this camera, I feel like I can understand why they might have cut this one from the N64 version. They already had so many in this setting. And this camera is... well, what's a polite way to say it? Anus? I think that's a pretty good... Ooh, boy. Apparently the game doesn't agree with that sentiment. Let's back the camera up so that way it's not completely up our urethra here. We like to actually be able to see.
Now that's what I call getting some tape.
Yeah, we got a 1-up. That's good. That makes up for the 2 stupid deaths we've had here so far. Not to be confused with 2 stupid dogs. Oh, the camera is rough, but I've sort of said that already in other forms. Like, yeah, this is... like, yeah, I do say a lot, oh yeah, the 90s were not a good time for cameras, but yeah, this level feels like it's special for that, because, ooh, boy. See me choke on my words horribly, but... it's definitely quite bumpy, that's for sure. Alright. Low budget Frankenstein, you've got a couple more of these, right? There we go. I should note that while I've mentioned before that I've played through a good part of this game on the N64, this is not the N64 version. This level was not in the N64 version, as I've already mentioned, so I do not have any idea what I'm doing here. I am just taking guesses, and of course we're pretty much past the point where I even remember much. So saying, oh yeah, I played this on the N64, real helpful, because I barely remember that. It's alright, folks. The important part of any of this is that Square Enix doesn't own Crystal Dynamics anymore, so they can't make a Gex NFT. We've just ended up with the next worst thing of a limited run games collector's edition, which they previewed that today, and I've got to say that it is significantly more bizarre than I feel I could ever have imagined. For one reason, and one reason only, which is that at least the Switch version has a slipcover or a box or something like that. I think it's a slipcover, but it could be a... Shut up, idiot. Anyway, for the outer package, which has artwork of Gex and Rez, done by, and I'm not kidding here, Yoshitaka Amano. You know, the guy who does most of those Final Fantasy artworks that everybody likes. The ones that are the most well-known? Yes. He drew Gex for limited run games. I'm genuinely curious if it's like... Does Amano, like, know Gex? Does he like Gex? Just something that would be kind of funny about that to me, but... regardless, Yes, that is a real thing. Unfortunately, it is still a limited run games project, so like,
Swan-like grace of a young Nixon.
I'm not going to tell anyone that I would recommend that on any level, but also it is a very just conceptually amusing thing. Also, the various junk that they include with it looks about as quality as usual from any of those sorts of collector's editions. I.e., they tend to look a little bit on the side of production costs don't necessarily meet the... You know what I'm saying. They look cheap. That's the point. They look fucking cheap. Anyway. But just, I loved hearing about that. The Amano art Gex. Like, so far it doesn't look like Wizards was able to get more Amano artwork going, but maybe we'll see. They haven't previewed much of the Final Fantasy set yet. But they may... But Limited Run pulled Amano for Gex? Damn! Well... Maybe there was some sort of blackmail involved. Who can say? It's limited run games. I wouldn't put sliminess past them, right? I mean, they already literally are the NFTs of the blackmail. I mean, okay, you've got a point. Oh, good lord. This is the hall where the frame rates go to die. Yeah, I know. I think it's the frame rate is horrifying too. All this because I want to get the collectible remote the first time through. Eesh. Well, at least we're pain-proof with this, so.
Forget about it.
Yay! Oh. I thought that would let me jump on top of that dude, but apparently, no. So basically, there's just an absolute crapload of these ice power-ups in this level for reasons that I'm not understanding yet. Ah, well, at this point, it wouldn't be the strangest thing, really. Here, anyway. Suit of armor is just hanging out by itself. I don't think there's a good way to get to it, though. Okay, yeah, don't drop down. That just take us backwards. It's a nice fireplace, but I don't know if that's just like an incidental object or what. Oh. Oh no, that's just the path back up from if you fall. Which, hell with it. I'll start breaking the rest of these just to be sure. Wow.
Bring out your dead.
Oh, that wasn't a very good attempt at that, sir. Bring that thing back down. Oh, what do you mean I can't first person on a moving object? That's ridiculous. Oh, okay, we can actually push those. I didn't realize. Unfortunately, it would help out a lot more if I could stay stuck to the back end of this thing. There was another room where we had a bunch of those... Where we had a bunch of those coffins that were just sticking out. So... Well, that was quite a horrifying, echoey scream you had there, Gex. So perhaps we can go...
Jimmy Hopper, white courtesy phone, Jimmy Hopper.
Yet another one of those name drops that feels really, really odd coming out of Gex. I'm not sure how that places next to Tom Vu, but Jimmy Hoffa, that's... I wasn't expecting there to be a reference to that.
This house is now clean. This is where all the angels in heaven.
Ah. This game's reference pools are far stranger than I know, that's for sure. This isn't the room I'm looking for, but that is access to a fairly easy red remote. It's just that I'm looking for the... other area where we could push coffins, because I want to see if that will open up the silver remote for us. Okay, that's where the thing spawns after we get all 8 of the blood coolers, right? Yeah, that would have to be. This room looks familiar, though. What do you mean they ran out of assets and are starting to recycle room designs? I'm not surprised, though, all considered. Rude. Also rude, but in a different manner.
Behind one of these doors is a brand new car.
Oh. I think it's after this area.
Who forgot to pay the gravity bill?
This is the level above. Okay, here we go. And for all I know, these could only just open up the gates in here that have these guys in them.
Let's get it on. Say hello to the floor.
And not do anything to get us at that silver remote.
For 12 years, a full house. Just getting the kicks, darling.
Oh, yeah. It's tail time. Oh, yeah. It's tail time.
Well. This is a disorienting location, that's for sure.
The real estate wizardry of Han Vu at work.
What's going on out there? Just a cow texture? It's really weird looking.
Now that's what I call getting some tail.
Yay, an extra life, hooray. Please lead somewhere good. Oh, it leads into one of those guys who just kind of sucks, apparently. Well, I mean, we didn't finish fully exploring that path, and it'd be nice to know what was going on over there, so instead of just going for the fairly easy, comparatively early remotes that we know about, I'm going in there.
I just dog duty.
That's the morgue.
That's not in the script.
I should have gone the other way there. Nah, well. Oops. It looks like it so far, Alan. How you doing, champ? How's your evening going?
Pat, I'll take the floating chair for 200 and the rest on account.
I seen there what. Where did those go? Those come from? So far it's going pretty all right. Oh hey, it looks like all the things that happened from those coffins that we pushed are staying in place. So I would hazard that we haven't actually unlocked the silver over there. Well, darn. A lot of that sample of a woman screaming in this room. Okay, let's climb on top of the coffins and...
Alright, it's tail time.
Okay, no, we're not all the way to that room yet. Whoa. I thought I was safe from the skulls. There's a one-up over there that I don't really want to risk going for, because,
City mass transit system.
you know, falling down seems like a not great time. Ah, yeah, these ones are on a slight timer. Which is an odd way to describe it, because it's like, oh yeah, it's a longer timer than usual. Ow. Get out of here, bonehead. Yes, yes, yes. Calling thing throwing skulls bonehead is quite easy. Wow, that guy was really waiting for a chance to do that. And there's a red remote all the way up here. Okay.
Tail time.
So, that's how this level is structured, I see. Ah, come on, that... Wait. Yeah, update. Speaking easy, that joke. That one is on top of the red area, I think.
The ad said Beverly Hills adjacent.
That's where I wanna be. Wait. Sorry. I don't even like Weezer, says person referencing Weezer. Wait. Okay, yeah, so this room is just... Yeah, there's nothing down here. The hell am I doing? Thank you, Ice Power Up, for making me resistant to that. As I fall down again. Yay. Oh, this camera's drunk. Get me out of that. Okay, that part of the level didn't stay open, so... As is to be expected, I suppose.
The odds of navigating a floating furniture field are 3,327 to 1.
Alright, now I don't suppose that either of these are going to actually get me what I want here, but let's try it anyway.
No, 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 I wanted the pit there and the pendulum there.
Alright, let's let the desk pass. Get on the table. I am the table. Wait. Realizing that like a modern Gex game would probably have a reference like that, which is now excruciatingly out of date. But I digress. See, that turned out to be quite easy. If only I had thought to do that the previous time, because I didn't recognize that there was actually a coffin in there until this time through. Well, whatever. They can't all be zingers. Because if they were, this would be Donkey Kong Country. Wait. Alright, so that's number 5. We got one up there, I know, and another... Good lord, this camera angle.
Hail time!
It's very possible that I simply missed one of them, but,
The ad at Beverly Hills adjacent.
is there one in this room even? Or am I... I'm losing my tiny little mind here. Oh, I think there was one in here, yes. Yes, I see it now. Do I see a path to it that doesn't involve me getting hurt? That's the real question. The answer is, ha, you think I'm good enough at video games for that? Is there one in this area, possibly? Ah, cold ones. I get it. It's not actually a Homestar Runner reference, you guys. Wait.
The
Okay,
Imperial
yeah.
fleet would never follow us into a floating furniture field.
Anything in here? Just some of these. Okay, yeah, I got that one.
Mental note. Get it, fitness.
Alright, what's over here? We got a fly, place we can climb up. I don't think this is where the last of these coolers is going to be. It might even be in the first room and I just screwed up and forgot to get it. Oh, there's an ice fly there. Here's the room where the frame rate goes all to shit. My favorite. Here we are. That's where the last cooler was. I knew it had to be around somewhere. We really haven't had a whole lot of remotes that involve collecting stuff for a while, huh? Like, they've pretty much all just been already out in the open, pre-prepared for us. Oh no, the massive gauntlet of things are there just to deal damage and be slightly problematic. No!
It's tail time.
Now lastly, we gotta go reach the top of the morgue, which we've been being told about for a while here.
This place is bigger than Drew Carey's bar tab.
Wow, I mean, well, back then that was probably true, but... As ever, you know, references that children aren't going to get. Unless you're that very strange mother that bought dirty jokes and beer for your kid, but... No, the book, not just the concept. Although... that would also be a strange Christmas present.
Certainly not in the vicinity of Kansas anymore.
Shit. We almost had that in one go, but... I was being a little too slippery there. I didn't let go of the stick properly.
I know what you're thinking. It's tail time.
Let's go! That's right. That took us like 45 minutes to finish that level, but most of it was centered in exploring. Big level, but ultimately, shockingly, kind of straightforward. And that's 30 red remotes. We could basically just skip straight to the final boss at this point after we... Well, asterisk, we have to beat this first. Gexzilla versus Mecha-Rez. Here we go. Our third boss fight, pardon me, of the game. And this one is actually a pain in the ass. I mean, we've been having some pretty not terrible times with the previous two boss fights. I mean, I made myself look like a total ass with one of them, but other than that... As you can see, Mecha-Rez has quite a large HP meter, and you do not. So we are not talking about a fight where there is any true sense of equivacy here. And so even at, like, the easiest, it'll get a little bit tedious. Although that said, I do kind of at least sort of enjoy the whole Godzilla game style thing. Like, Godzilla games are definitely very hit and miss in terms of quality. A little of this sort of reminds me of a shockingly much faster moving version of this game called Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee for the GameCube, which is something that I played as a kid and I haven't played since, but one of these days I should check it out again. It was sort of a 1v1 game where, I guess you could call it a fighting game, but that does seem a little bit like an odd way to do it, because it's not like, you know, you're not exactly Street Fightering your way through anything. You are two big lumbering kaiju monsters doing your big lumbering kaiju monster thing, right? So this is like a faster version of that, which is kind of weird in its way. But kind of cool, and so far this is actually... Never mind, I actually got hit by him, never mind. I was gonna say, so far this is not as much of a pain in the ass as I remember, but then he had to go and make me look like a complete buffoon for saying things like that. That's what you get for talking, streamer. You fool. And of course, Rez is using his rocket-powered ass there to, you know, do what you would do with a rocket-powered ass, which is that, apparently. Oh crap, can we knock this down before he... Yes! That actually was significantly less of a pain than I remember. I mean, don't get me wrong, that takes forever, but, like, we didn't die. We got hit during it a couple of times, but, you know, compared to the first boss, which is just a gimme that I still took a hit on, and the second boss, which I died several times against, Mushu Pork, I'm surprised that was that easy. I remember that being insanely hard. Maybe that's just because I last played that part of the game when I was a child. So I may have just been worse at video games at the time. But yeah. A little bit of a Godzilla parody. Fun stuff! Fun stuff! There's two platforms we can check out here. Let's take a look at what's going on behind the blue gate. Oh yeah, we do have a bonus level to check out in a minute. We got Samurai Night Fever, which would be significantly funnier if there were not also literally a Saturday Night Live sketch that was Samurai Night Fever. With John Belushi in it, I'm pretty sure. Oh well. Can't always be helped. Over here, we've got a level called Pain in the Asteroid. Pain in the Asteroids. And let me tell you, it lives up to its name! Oh, boy! Ooh! I do not want to, but we must. We must. Fortunately, first, there are many things we can do before that. We've got another thing we can check out now that we got 26 remotes. We can go into this lion head. You can actually sneak into here using your tail bounce if you time it right. So that's cool to know. And over on the left, we've got the one Resopolis platforming stage in the game with one remote. It's No Weddings and a Funeral. I'm almost tempted to do that first just to check that out. And last but not least, the final boss requiring 33 remotes, so I was wrong whenever I said otherwise. It's Channel Z, or Channel Z if you live in Britain, or many parts of the world that are not America. Let's take a we're taking that shortcut because we want to go and check out that bonus level real quick. And hopefully beat it fairly quickly, but I admit that I am going to not assume this to be easy. Because I do vaguely remember this one, and I vaguely remember it being hard. It's called Lizard in a China Shop.
Tail time.
And same quest as usual.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
We gotta find 31 items here. 31 of these boxes of Chinese takeout. Oh. Don't try to jump to that. Use the jump pad thingy. I actually forgot that this track had this actually really neat sort of hip hop beat to the background of it. Whoops.
It's tail time.
All I remember is that the fact that the beginning is, you know, the sort of stock musical piece, right?
Yes, I'm here to pick up my lunch.
Ooh. Yeah, so there's some stuff on that archway up there, so there's going to be some of me trying to jump up there, and it's going to be a little embarrassing. Because I'm going to fuck it up a lot.
Tail time. Oh, we're short round when you need 'em.
There we go, that's better. Crap.
Damn flashbacks, and I wasn't even there.
What a strange thing to say, sir. As you can tell, the platforming and that is not my strong point, that's for sure. It's kind of like my opposite of that.
Ah, ancient Chinese level.
Oh god, Tom Fu's boat. God damn it, again with this man. It just kind of amuses me again, seeing like some really odd references like that, because big fan. I mean, he is a scammer, so I wouldn't say that that's true. And his scam was all in like the selling seminars about, oh, how I became rich, and he tells you how to flip houses. Like, wow, okay. Thanks, dude. But, you know, of course, as a white woman, I have to love house flipping. Wait.
Wait, just box up the evil. I'll take it home.
Is that, like, inappropriate to say? Did I get what I deserved there? Anyway. It's okay, that's just what television executives think. So I'm making fun of it. Anyway.
Yes, I'm here to pick up my laundry.
That very well might not be a actual zip line, because yeah. Ugh. Anyway, while we're on the subject of... No, this has to be, right? This has to be a zip line. I just have to actually line up with it properly. There we go. Yes! While we're on the subject of the man, Tom Vu is actually Vietnamese, not Chinese. So, blah, blah, blah. You know, it was the 90s. I mean, at least they got the right continent, but... Which immediately, now that I think about that and the Drew Carey reference from earlier, I just immediately thought, did you know Africa's a continent? I'm sure you've all seen that particular... the Chinese continent. I mean... I would say they're a majority by population, but I don't really think that's... true in the sense of like over half, because India is part of Asia too, and that's a very large amount of people as well. So surely the population of China is not half or more of the total population of Asia. Anyway, that's a really terrible thing for me to be saying in general, so maybe I shouldn't, but also again, part of the joke here is that I am still making fun of this game for not getting this thing right. Even if it was the 90s, it's like, well, I'd say, man, do your research, but did the internet truly exist back then? And the answer is yes, but making that jump is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass.
What I call getting some...
Maybe I can do the long jump and that'll let me get there. But I'm worried about that overshooting me.
Ah, ancient Chinese level.
It was a series of tubes back then, and now it's just a big dump truck.
Slip of the tongue.
Oh, that was interesting what just happened there. I mean, first of all, good job to me for missing that third item, but also... Ooh.
Forget about it.
Yeah, so...
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Roundy, I don't know if you've seen any of these bonus levels. These are simple, just like collect-a-thon. A little bit more straightforward even than the regular levels, but yeah. And yeah, I have no idea what the hell happened there. That was a whole series of odd interactions with that specific piece of land. It's not like this game is glitch-free, though, or anything, though. So, I mean, at this point...
That's it. That's your spot.
Oh, I don't think it gives me the run-up to do a... Roundy, please. I don't think that gives me the run-up to long jump there, which is unfortunate. Probably also due to the weird teetering physics of the platform there. So I may just have to, like, jump at the very edge and just barely get there.
Ah, ancient Chinese level.
Anyway, this level is fun musically. How many stereotypical Chinese musical leitmotifs do you want in your hip-hop remix, right? Big fan of 100 Gex. You make that joke. I'm pretty sure that they actually had, like, a picture of Gex somewhere in one of the insides of one of their early albums. Asterisk, this is just what I've read on the internet. It could be false, for all I know. I think I tried to listen to them once and I was like, this is a little too much for me in terms of the, like, being difficult sounds. We'll put it that way. Calling it harsh doesn't seem like the appropriate description. Not because hyperpop is not harsh, but also because I don't think it covers the whole width, breadth, and other words here of what that particular musical genre is. As I pronounce the D in breadth in order to exemplify that that's the word that I'm saying. Dang it. I started chickening out when I saw that I wasn't getting the high jump there, but I didn't chicken out hard enough. You ever just... It is being slightly overkill with how often it's like, hey, do you want to save after you get kicked out of a level when I've done nothing? I haven't even gained lives or anything, game. Come on. Relax. At least slightly.
I knew I shouldn't have hired Margaret Cho as my landscaper.
Oh, that's my bad. You're a loser. Once again, undersigned Tom Vu. Yeah, that sounds like something that he would have said in one of his infomercials. I wouldn't know for sure because I haven't heard all of them or anything, but it just sort of strikes me as the sort. But I guess when you're giving seminars on how to become rich, that sort of behavior is just to be expected, really. At least, if you ask me. Not that I would encourage it, but simply to be expected. How to be rich. Step 1, have money. I mean, yeah, that's basically... And hey, nice, easy remote. Now watch me fuck it up. Hey. That's a real short bonus level if you don't, like, screw up at it a million times like I did. Well, at least they do counterbalance the difficulty with the fact that it is short as hell, and even with the shorter clock, that's not a concern. I said clock. Could view limited run as flipping this game, thus making it. This chat's being funnier than I am. That's, well, kind of normal, actually. I mean, Tev, you say that too. I would not be surprised if a non-zero amount of people did, in fact, purchase the Gex limited edition just on the basis of it being Gex. Anyway, I'm doing this level before I do the other one because, I mean, it's called Pain in the Asteroids. We're gonna get what we pay for here anyway.
Tell me again the difference between the future and Las Vegas.
Tev, it's not even on pre-order yet. Although I am saying that I'm certainly considering it. I've given it some consideration to purchasing that because it is hilarious. Even if the quality of the various and sundry gewgaws that it comes with is, well, about what you would expect from, you know, cheap feelies for a game. And it probably will not be, you know, worth the price because, come on. It is just very conceptually hilarious. Don't write Gex your butt can't cash. Amazing. So, yeah, it's just that I sort of sit in this weird place of like, that's really funny, but also I don't exactly have a whole lot of cash at this particular moment. And 2, limited run games. And I don't want to turn completely into one of those people who uses the, you know, leans on no ethical consumption under capitalism as an excuse to be like, oh yeah, this thing that I think would be funny as hell is worth giving money to LRG. Irene, I have put forward the idea of a moth-themed VTuber, so, like, you could have said that then, too. I mean... Oh, God. Is there a... There's an air bubble. Thank you. Get away from me, garbage can. Look, don't you have like an Ernest Borgnine or someone to go fuck with? I don't know. And I can't go. Oh, yes, I can if I flip that lever. God, I'm just absolutely starved for air here. This is... I do like how they just put the text up on screen and you just die. It's just kind of, there's something very funny about how simplified that is, you know? A weird sense of charm, but sense of charm nonetheless. Alan, please. If they reveal a version of that Bubsy Perfect collection with doodads in it, I feel like Alan would probably be pretty high on the list of people who would give money for it. Alan is both an unironic and ironic lover of Bubsy. Bobs and ends. Nice one, Roundy. Life-size Bubsy plush. I mean, I'd be surprised if it didn't happen at some point, you know?
That's one small step for Gex.
I mean, listen, it's not like we're talking about the life-size Gardevoir plush here, right? That's something that would be involved in ends that are a little bit more unusual than anything Bubsy related, I'm sure. have to fill Gex with air. I mean, we haven't talked about it yet, I suppose. Except for the one time that I just mentioned it like a moment ago. So that life-size Gardevoir plush exists. Did? Now, you see, my opinion on Pokemon and big plush toys like that is, okay, I want to see the next level of this, which is, of course, a life-size Wailord plush. I wouldn't expect them to make many of them, but it would be incredibly silly just to see that advertised, and I'd be like...
Gexy wants blue velvet.
That was a phrase you said. You're just choking for air and gibbering. You know what? I feel like Gex really does lend a lot of the things to himself. I mean, listen, to be fair, at that point, if you are opening the life-size Wailord plush in your, like, living room or whatever, I feel at the point that you've purchased the life-size Wailord plush, you do know what you're in for, right? So, like, I think most people would look at that and immediately be like, yeah, I think that counts as a suicide. But to be fair, I'm only guessing, so you know, okay, so there's definitely something I can do here, but my question is, how do I do it? Also, this doesn't fall? Well, that's good. I don't call this level pain in the asteroids for nothing, I guess. No, we'll go this way. Maybe this will help us out in some way or another. Oh, hey, look, there's that alien and that TIE Fighter saucer that we saw earlier. Yeah, about that thing. Oh, think of the doodads. Don't walk into Mace Windu's lightsaber. Don't be a complete fool, just most of one. Careful. Getting there. Refill. And now we're back to crossing things using these. And oh god, I was clenching a little bit there. Let's inflate our Gex real quick and... Wait. That's not what I... Fuck! I deserved that, I think. Oh, right. This level doesn't have checkpoints.
The princess is here in the detention level.
Oh, this level is... This level is something, that's for sure, Alan. After all, it is called Pain in the Asteroids for a good reason.
Forget about it.
Take that. I'm getting nervous now because of the... Well, everything, really. And down we go. I love that this level's remix, by the way, has had musical themes as, like, scattered in terms of what they are, as we've had the, we've had Thus Spake Zarathustra in here, and also the Jetsons theme. That's fun. Oh god, that lightsaber was out to kill us. I mean, you're correct, Alan, so. Oh, here we are. This is actually one of the remotes. Finally, I found one. And say in before I have to do a bunch of weird shit to get to this. Or this is like just a preview of sorts.
Sweet, like candy.
Oh, there's a climbing spot here and I have to walk onto. Full air game. Let's see if I could properly like just descend entirely into the guy from Phantom of the Paradise for that purpose. Yeah, there's a couple of lines in this that are absolutely just straight up recycled from the first game. Possibly even the exact same performance, but I don't know for sure. I just remember that I've heard them before.
You are unwise to lower your defenses.
I'm just glad that at least so far, after watching Alan's playthrough millions of years ago, that I haven't had to hear him ask about when Grace Jones is going to retire, because god damn, dude. When you were in that res boss fight, he said like 3 lines total, and he said them every second. Ish. Asterisk. God, when did you play that game? Over 5 years ago? It's been a while, I know that. And I don't mean that it's been a while in the sense of, like, stained. The first one, yeah. Elastic Plow in there played Gex on his...
Let's get it on.
I almost said VTube channel. That's not correct. He played that game on his Twitch channel back in... Good lord. So... between 5 and 6 years. It has been what one would consider to be a minute.
Keep the dribbles. I just want the quadro criticale.
Oh yeah, Gex 1 gets pretty rough. I always kind of think that if you have a platforming game and the sprites are that big, that usually ends up causing problems too, but I don't know if that necessarily is as much of an issue as it just always feels like it usually would be. If our resident guy who has played the game and beaten it would like to weigh in, assuming that he remembers.
Can you read?
Can you tell us anything about that, Mr. Allen? Yeah, and those bonus levels were pretty frustrating from what I remember. Although it did also have that one Easter egg where it was just a developer and you tail him a bunch and he fucking dies. That was wild.
Screw the force. Who's got a grenade?
I'm with you there right now, Mr. Lizard Man. Yeah, exactly. It's just this thing that they hid in the middle of a game for, you know, ostensibly for children. Although realistically, I think Gex's target age demographic is probably more like more teen rated than that. But also it is just like, you know, hey, in the middle of this E-rated game, here's some blood your child can randomly run into. Although, I mean, also, it was the 90s. It's not like kids hadn't been exposed to, you know, weirder, grosser shit by that point, right? Oh, fuck. Get out of here, lightsaber man. Doing that spin bullshit. I'm not allowed to do that. Well, that's a whole other kind of kids stumbling into questionable things category, really. Because it does sort of wear its thematic attributes, shall we say, on its sleeve. Although, yeah, with it being like a cutesy platformer, I don't want to turn into too much of a boomer here, but definitely I think that Conker's Bad Fur Day is a game that stands more of a chance of the thing happening with it that all our parents were afraid was going to happen with South Park than South Park actually did.
Daddy wants air. Let's get it on.
Gex, that's a lot funnier now that Limited Run has revealed that inflatable Gex inflatable. Daddy wants air, you say? Well. Right, yeah, it's also just like, I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know what I'm saying. Forget it. Just pretend I'm not saying anything. At this point, I'm sure that most of you will be like, are those words you're talking? And that's a good question, Mega Man. I don't know anymore.
Roswell would open up a casino.
Actually, yeah, I'll just say it's a meta thing. Whenever I say that's a good question, Mega Man, I am indeed referencing the infamous cutscenes from Mega Man 8. But he doesn't actually say that's a good question, Mega Man, in any part of those. I just have always kind of, for some reason, I think it was Mulderman who started saying it as that's a good question, Mega Man, and I've just like rolled with it since. So I did actually hack some of those lines together for somebody as a sound clip, so actually literally just so I could use it in Discord chats with one of my friends, but listen, it's the American way. When the past doesn't actually align with your belief of what the past is, just fucking lie about the past. That might be considered a little close to home right now, but... Oh, wow, I just made that dude's head explode. Okay. Well, then. So, that garbage can robot just stopped when I jumped into the tube. That's a good image. Anyway, the low budget R2D2-ish robot stopped when I went into the thing. So like, am I invisible inside the air tube? Is that Gex's cardboard box? In a theoretical Gex 4, can he just carry that around with him so that way he can be invisible to bad guys? And you just go into that and they just immediately go, what was that noise? Whose footprints are these? Oh wait, no, sorry. Those are video game references, not TV or film references. How close to fair game does it end up getting? Either because of Hideo Kojima absolutely loving film, or because we're seeing something of a renaissance of video game-based, you know, film and television adaptations. And people actually like some of them now. Which is the more alarming part. Anyway, now I have to figure out what I'm supposed to do with this. Like, I've got to be able to rotate this, yeah? Surely that's a thing I can do. But how? Am I going to play Gex 3? I would say probably not right away, but there is a distinct possibility of some Gex 3 in the future. I remember it being a decent game, not as good as this one, but...
Oh, fill her up with unleaded, please.
a decent game. And you know, for someone like me who's a big complainer, we take those. I'm actually gonna look this up because this is... I'm just sort of sitting here like, what? I don't see anything that works for that. So... it's time for me to prove how stupid I am and go FAQ it, and I'm gonna be like, oh, that's really simple. Oh. So I have to get all 5 power cells for that. Well, I don't know where the other one is, so I'm gonna hash that out on my own, actually. Crash 5 back to the PlayStation. Yeah, as they just resuscitate the PS1 and put the game on it. I mean, I'm just saying that is far from the stupidest idea that anybody at any of those companies would ever have had, right?
That's not in the script.
The problem would come up with there being a limited amount of hardware out there and Sony not offering new hardware, right? They wouldn't go back to manufacturing PS1s or PS2s. Even though I feel like they would still kind of sell if they did. Yeah, I think the 5th power crystal is actually over on this. Yeah, there it is. I knew you were somewhere. That's as close to like a sort of mission bluff, if you will, that I feel I've seen in this game. Because that one is just enough off the beaten path. Whereas all the others, except for that one, but that's close enough to the progression that you can just be like, yeah, that's supposed to be the first one. So, TLDR, how odd. I don't need more air for that. That'd be silly. Hooray! We beat that level and it was not actually like a million years long. Hell yeah. Alright, gang. We've got one new bonus level that we've dealt with. Unlocked, rather. Dealt with. Not yet. And 2 main levels. And 1... extra level left once we... well, that extra level will be left once we unlock it. There's 1 more bonus to unlock, which we can do by getting 3 out of the 4 remaining silver remotes. So, I guess they really do want you to get almost all of them to get those.
Let's get it on.
Is it too late to say you don't... It's never too late to say things like that, Roundy.
Screens up.
This level is called Bugged Out, and it is a rather odd take on the collection style. In that instead of just walking around looking for things to get or following a path, as we had in I Got the Reruns or I almost said Bull in a Gecko shop. Amazing. Instead, you spin this gear and you go beat up some bugs. If they'll stop just dodging me just barely for 1 second. It's not necessarily like the hardest thing or anything, but you do have to have a little bit of skill, and, well, look where that places me.
There's plenty more where this came from, baby.
Also, because this is technically the Resopolis style, we do have a little bit of that sort of industrial-y sound to the music, which, again, I think that's neat after... It sticks out so much compared to everything else that we've had here. It's not like, you know, full-throated industrial music or anything, but still, it's neat. It's a nice change, nice difference. And the gold remote just spawns in the middle, I think? Yes. Oh, you got one of those phone updates. Well, that is extremely unfortunate, sir. Yeah, that's a thing they did recently with Android, I believe. So it's pretty rough from what I've heard. So far I've managed to forestall on my phone, forcing an update on me. My admittedly rather outdated phone, but I mostly just use it for phone stuff. Which sounds a little bit nebulous nowadays, but I digress. Oh, Alan. Oh. This is how... It's probably fine, just not right now, which sounds... Yeah, that sounds about right. So this level is a big one, if I recall correctly. I do at least... I appreciate the honesty is what on that one, you know? Alan just saying, yeah, I'm playing a waifu game on my phone. Which, hey, fair enough. I don't use my phone for any of that stuff. And yeah, that Gex Buddha statue is pretty fantastic. I feel like if they were ever to do any semblance of like heavy merchandising for this franchise, if this were to make a comeback, you know, I would really want this to be somewhere on the list, you know? This thing is excellent. Actually, speaking of which, I did find out recently that although there were no action figures made for this line, asterisk, I'll get to that in a second, there was an attempt made in that general direction, and a company was going to make them, a company called Resaurus, and they died before they could actually get them out. So as far as we know, there are a very tiny amount of like early models of them that exist that are probably owned by former Resource employees, basically. But they may or may not have since been destroyed because pictures of them have not shown up on the internet. And truth be told, the whole thing is a big fat guess. And also, they did apparently issue a grand total of 2 out of a possible 10 very large, like scaled up 8-inch versions of some of those action figures as part of a contest on IGN or something like that. So apparently something like slightly less than 10 Gex action figures exist out in the world somewhere.
Tail time!
There's also a statue that some dude purchased for $2,000 at auction that was previously in like a Crystal Dynamics office and now has in his game store in California. So there's your Gex trivia. Your Gex merchandise trivia specifically. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit sad that it never got any further than just like, hey, here's some pre-production versions or anything. I wonder if like the molds are out there or something. You know, just sort of got thrown in a dumpster and, you know, transported around various other dumpster-like contrivances. Gexpedition 33. I haven't played Clair Obscura Expedition 33 yet, as to be the serious answer to the question that's like sort of embedded in the pun. But see, now I'm just thinking Gex turn-based RPG, and that concept is kind of hilarious. I feel like Gex would know video games, at least a little bit.
Now that's what I call getting some tail.
Oh shit, I forgot to hit that other gong there. You have to do that in order to open the rest of the level. Oops. And it's a thing that sticks between iterations of the level, so... I fucked up! Anyway.
It's tail time!
Uh-oh. That seems like a fair reaction sometimes, Plowlin. Oh, hey. The gate opened, actually. Is Gex short for G? I don't know if on purpose, but he definitely fits in terms of his knowledge of cultural artifacts.
Hey, forget about
His name is... Well, if you believe the Japanese edition, his name is Reno. But... I think it is just like, you know, Gex to be like, hey, it's a very easy name that we came up with that's similar to Gecko.
I hope my fake hip is rust-proof.
I mean, I suppose his name could be Gordon, right? I'm not sure, but again, it's like Reno as in R-E-N-O, like Reno, Nevada. So they probably pronounce it differently than that because it's Japanese, but, you know. Reno from FF7. Oh, is that where he went after?
You can be a millionaire.
Oh, and there he was impersonating Tom Cruise's accent, too, which, like, you know, not to be like, oh, man, they keep bringing up this dude, but, like, it continues to befuddle me. Subtitles sold here 2 for 1. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I've seen some of those attempts at translating certain kung fu flicks and other stuff like that. They can be a little rough. Although I guess when you're horribly underfunded
Licking that way to the top.
and maybe not necessarily in the business of accuracy so much as you are getting releases out there, that happens. Nope.
My name is Queen. I seek water.
That block does not stand up for too long. But also, wow, after that previous level, this one involves a hell of a lot less death, doesn't it? Oh, careful of the spikes. Is this door just floating out in the middle of nowhere? Not quite, it just looks like it. Oh. Get over the... What the hell is this thing? Is it just a... It's just like a teetering thing with a bunch of nails sticking out of it. Could be some sort of saw. It could be a deadly comb. Somebody probably knows a little bit more exactly what it is, but see, I am very not film literate or TV literate or... So, like, half of these references are going past my head, except for the scam infomercial for some reason. No, I mean, I get some of the others, but also...
Pardon my tongue, darling.
Or others that are just like, hey, I've heard that name before, because that's a lot of... Who can imagine? That's a lot of what reference humor actually is, right? It's just, hey, have you heard of this thing before? In one level, he says something like, don't take career advice from Joe Piscopo, and... Listen, I don't know much about Joe Piscopo's career, but I've heard that name before, so... That's... That's like 1/10 of the way there.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
One of these days, I will watch a second movie to go along with Phantom of the Paradise. Or whatever my one movie I've seen this year is. Amazing. How did that go? Wait. Can this bug get over here, please? Yeah, that one's a little too big for Gex to eat. Not in one bite, anyway.
One for me and one for me.
Although now that I say that, that sounds like coward shit. You should try harder, Gex. As well as you might imagine. Yeah, that sounds like... That was a mess for Data. Get up there! An alternate timeline where Data gets comedy advice from Eddie Murphy. Hey, I'm on board with the idea. Is there anything to pick up before I get on that block? Oh, that block is literally just for a 1-up. Which I'm gonna take anyway, because... I mean, why not? It's free. That's right, everybody loves a free 1-up. Especially around the wheel. Unfortunately, my depth perception is kind of telling me that, well, it's only free if you do not subscribe to the idea of time being money. And, listen, both of those are kind of made up a little bit, but also... God, I suck at this. There we go. That's better. Don't stop before you do the tail bounce, otherwise you're not going to have the time. Or the money, for that matter. Get up there. I was afraid of getting spiked.
Look like a butterfly, sting like a gecko.
Pick those up. I do want this free health for when I'm dealing with this spiked log over here. Looks like it's on a faster cycle than the other one. There's nothing down there. Not anymore, anyway. Dang, I was really hoping they would regenerate. I mean, I shouldn't need help getting to the 120 collectibles remote. Because we're only 2 off. But, I mean, why not get it even earlier? Especially, we've seen how I platform. Oh, right, that's an elevator. I thought that was the thing I had to break through the normal way. I banned the spam bot even though it got by the filter. You know, it's the principle of the thing, right? There we go. Wah! Well, I suppose the only trying I have to do at this point is actually getting to the goal, so I don't have to think about it. That was deeply unfortunate. That was pretty bad, even by my standards, which are not high, but there's a reason why they're not high. And it's because of things like that. That thing spins at a speed that is noticeable. Oh, there. Yep. I think that stance might be causing them a little bit of some issues too, like when you gotta get somewhere fast but you're only able to shuffle your feet as you go. Okay, good. The planks regenerated. Go right down the middle. We can actually walk right under the spiked log thing. Well. Careful, don't go so fast. You might take a really wide turn and fall off. Damn, you'd think that thing would just take off at some point. Goes that fast. Ugh.
That's not in the script.
Hey, come on, dude. Hey, remember gong that? And yeah, for some reason, that's one of the few things in the game where that sticks throughout the entire playthrough. Oh. It's fine. I don't know why I went into this menu, though, but why not? That way you can see my Mega Man X6 save file, I guess. That exists for some reason. That's a video game that somebody actually put out. No, it's not as bad as all that. It could be Mega Man X7 instead. Ooh, boy.
Last time I was here, I was dressed as a woman. Yes!
X7 was certainly an experience, and not one that I would recommend to anybody. Okay, that's not gonna work. Duly noted. I was hopeful, but... well, you can see what happened. It didn't work. You would like to inform us of that, sir. Okay, so timing this is just kind of... well, it's what you might call butt. Because that thing is moving so fast. Ooh, boy. Wow. Well, this level has definitely gotten a hell of a lot harder. Compared to that first mission we did, anyway. This is pretty nasty. I mean, fair enough, it's one of the last few levels of the game, but also, whew.
Oh, great. The dream sequence from Brazil again.
All these objects are moving at the speed of holy crap! Surprised I managed to live through that. Oh, yeah, careful of the swinging axes there. I said axes, not... oh. Alright, let's take ourselves an elevator ride here. We're at full health? Yes, we're at full health. So let's take that along with us for the ride. Because goodness knows, I bet we're gonna get hit by something stupid along the way. That was a pretty good dodge, though. Oh, the frame rate! Ugh. Whew. It's like I just entered battle in the Chrono Cross remaster when it came out. Oh!
I'm the ultimate weapon, baby. Yeah!
Yeah, he's doing a lot of that, like, Austin Powers voice, right? I think he's doing an Austin Powers voice. The first Austin Powers movie was out by 1998, right? I think that came out in 97. Yeah, you know, when the last time any of, well, okay, I won't say that, I won't be that rude, but the last Austin Powers movie came out in, like, the early aughts. Oh, whatever, dude. I don't care about your throwing ninja stars you got. But unfortunately, we did miss a hidden remote, so we're gonna have to find that. And Yeah, so, $97. All right. Yeah, just I wasn't completely sure, but I knew it was around that sort of time period.
It's tail time. I'm the ultimate weapons, baby. Yeah!
Oops.
Whoa!
Okay, yes, by the way, I did look this one up, but this sounds like something... Oh, oh. Oh, ho, ho. Now that is very well hidden. Damn, finding that organically seems like you would have to be the sort of person who just looks off of, like, literally every ledge like you're playing a Donkey Kong Country game. Dang. All right. Fair enough. So, I'll be right back, everybody. Yeah, definitely. In DKC, you would just drop off of pretty much every ledge almost. It could cost you life, or you could skip half a stop and go station. And then some. And I mean, that sounds like a fair trade-off in the end. Those games did tend to give you access to a good chunk of lives. Although once you hit that final boss, you would usually need them. But now it's time for our second to last regular platforming level. Barring the hidden level once we actually gain access to it. This one is called No Weddings and a Funeral. And instead of being themed around anything particular, we are penetrating Rez's inner sanctum.
So, this is where they decided to change code.
Do you folks remember New Coke? I certainly don't. I remember seeing something called Coke 2 when I was younger. And that was a very odd thing to see.
Lolly, 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 get your adverb here.
This place kind of looks like what Phyrexia would look like if humans were televisions. Or something. God, this thing is disgusting. You think you were 1 year old for New Coke? That sounds about right. So that's definitely outside of my time zone, but I do recall having seen Coke 2, and I know that was a thing that existed. And that's all I know about it. As I slowly turn into an issue. I mean, wait. Yeah, so this is a fairly simple puzzle using the mirror thing to reveal a hidden door. Also, you get your, like... You get that disco costume again for some reason. Why not, I guess? It looks like the part. Anyway, this place is... got some slightly gross noise for background music. And platforms that you have to stomp on all the buttons to use. Is it a... What do you mean? In lore, that's like actually quite close to a thing that was literally what the Simic did, I think. If I recall correctly, like when they invaded, they were just like, ooh, let's do this because it's here.
Terminator, phone call for a Mr. Terminator.
Yes, just eat this nasty, gross oil, right? That's not how it happened, but not that part anyway. Yeah, just squishing those things into the ground doesn't kill... Okay, we did take damage. I had to check. The fans obviously will make you lose progress by pushing you off of things. And that's... Okay, well that one's a lot easier to see than the previous one at least. So that's... There's a... sort of freebie? I know, right? And yet there are some parts about it that I will defend, even though a lot of it is just like, hey, we're going to make everybody be really stupid now. And in particular, the one thing that I will defend about it is the story arc with Ajani being uncompleted, and not because of any particular part of the story or anything, or just the fact that Ajani is like my favorite character in Magic other than Ral Zarek, but because they actually were like giving Koth a bit of a legit emotional struggle of like, oh, why is he so special? And fair enough, it seems like it would be a fair thing to actually write. I don't know that the quality was good, but, you know, that's Magic lore for you. I think they've been trying to get out of actually doing original stuff for a very long time. And you can really tell that with certain sets.
500 channels, still nothing on.
And yet they still use the 100th expansion set, Outlaws of Thunder Junction, as an excuse to be like, hey, look at all these characters from Magic lore. You know, that thing that we here at Wizards of the Coast absolutely care about. Right? It would be hilarious if it weren't so gut-wrenching.
You don't chop, baby, yeah!
So I might have the camera, like, jacked all the way back to Irene. That might be part of it. Yeah, I mean, there was absolutely that theme to it, too, that it's like, yet another set of, hey, do you like Character X in funny hat? Which that's what they did with Karlov Manor as well, because, you know, why not write a story with all these characters and stuff that we love? And what if instead we just ruined them and stuck them in funny hats and pretended that we did anything? You know, instead of setting the murder mystery on New Capenna, which wouldn't have fixed all of its problems, that's for sure, but at least it would have made more sense. Oh yes, I'm not saying that OTJ is a bad set mechanically. There's a lot of very fun cards in it, but it is such a punch in the, you know, insert body parts here, whatever you believe to be funniest in this case, that for their 100th expansion, they took the idea of a Wild West world, which is something that people have been clamoring for years.
Secret plan.
At least as far as I was able to ascertain back when I followed Mark Rosewater on Tumblr. Yes, you know, blah, blah, make jokes about that website. But, so I stopped paying attention to that after I quit playing Magic, which was at the beginning of 2020, you know, around when the pandemic kicked in. But after it was like, hey, it's been going on for a couple of months. This shit isn't just going away. People aren't doing the smart thing. This isn't, in fact, overstated. But, you know, not that I did anything stupid like attended social gatherings during the pandemic, especially the early part. Eesh. I should be careful how I word that because, I mean, COVID is still out there. Still waiting to get you in a dark alley. But, yeah, so up until that point, like, I had been following it for years and people wanted a cowboy set for a very long time. Or asterisk, I suppose Wild West would, you know, implies cowboy, but I guess, you know, that may not necessarily have to be the focus. But all my asterisks aside, this is a thing that people wanted for a while. And then Wizards was just like, hey, we're gonna make this some like really crass nostalgia bait where we just dump a bunch of lore characters. You know, now that we have an excuse for characters like Karavek to be able to leave Dominaria, because the idea of planeswalkers are the only ones who can travel between the planes is no longer a thing. Now we can just have everybody show up in the same place if we want to. And so they took that idea and they were just like, we're gonna do this with it, and also we're going to link this to Jace upending the one part that you liked out of the arc that was the previous hype arc that ended up being just a complete slap in the face. And also, the person who's upending it is Jace, too, which, you know, there was a time when I didn't hate Jace, but I think that he's gotten so, like, over, you know, he's become too much of a poster boy of the franchise for me to be like, you know, yeah, Jace is just like, if you were to tell me that Jace was your favorite Magic character, I would be like, you are the basic most of bitches, right? Possibly even literally in that phrasing. Like saying Leonardo is your favorite turtle. Like, oh, Tav, I thought your favorite was Soren. Underwhelming vampire daddy, that definitely sounds like your... My favorites are like Ral, Ajani, and Ashiok, which actually, I suppose that means that OTJ should piss me off even more because they upended Ashiok reappearing in Wilds of Eldraine, basically, by being like, oh hey, BT Dubs, that was Jace, basically. Although on the other hand, only Jace is enough of a lame ass to be like, oh yeah, you know what'll make the people of the fairy tale world afraid? Candy. But perhaps I'm being a little harsh here. Anyway, yeah, so upending a thing that people wanted for nostalgia bait / here's the conclusion / beginning of Jason Vraska's bizarre interplanar adoption scheme. And also sort of announcing, hey, yeah, by the way, Karlov Manor was not a fluke. We are, in fact, going to do sets that are this, you know, what's the word I want? Chintzy? I mean, I could just say shitty and be done with it, but that are this sort of cheap in terms of handling things that are world types that are outside of Magic's wheelhouse. Y'all looking forward to our modern horror plane?
Looks like we got us a fly in a spider's web.
The clue set does have a nice set of lands. I like those. There's like actual cards in there too that are pretty good. Afterlife Insurance, I think, is one that's specific to that, and that is a very good card from a playability stance. And also just as like a flavor thing for being an Orzhov card called Afterlife Insurance. I like that. But I can't remember the rest off the top of my head, so I can't actually say much there. But, yeah, so I'll give validity to Duskmourn as a setting, rather. Because Duskmourn as a set is playable and it's decently designed. It's just that the setting is, you know... Wow, you made a reference to Saw! How... Like, goddamn, is this even still the same game anymore? Because I think my feeling is fantasy can be anything except right now. And that's the problem with doing a modern horror set. There are quite a lot of good cards there. And from a design perspective, there's a couple of them that are like actually kind of funny. Like the TV that taps for either black or white, and then you have to pay extra to get RGB because it's more costly to have color TV, is actually kind of funny. That's like it inspired, I guess I would say. I'm not upset about that, really. That's funny. As much as it's like, okay, that does sort of violate my rule a little bit. You know what? You cooked with this one. That's a good gag. Anyway, point here, I'll give Duskmourn credit as a setting if they actually do what I was kind of expecting them to do, which was that I was expecting them to just give the Ether Spark to Valgavoth and be like, oh, by the way, here's your new villain right now. And I'm not saying that that would be good, you know, if it ended there and then it was like, oh yeah, Multiverse fights Valgavoth as a final boss. Oh no, you fight the big stupid demon. Wow, you know, amazing. It just would be like, God, just fight Ob Nixilis at that point. But if they instead do that and it's like, Marina goes, by the way, you know I'm still tied to you and demons can't have sparks, right? And she just ends up becoming the plot character. But, oh wait, Marina is a person of color and also a girl. That's never gonna happen. And I hate to be that person about Wizards, but like, you know, I think that they are a little too afraid of offending parts of their fan base, except for the ones that they are perfectly okay with saying, yeah, whatever, you'll still end up buying anyway, you schmuck, when they reveal Final Fantasy. But although saying that, and I'm waiting for this to actually get posted to Scryfall so that way I know it's completely legit. I did like they showed a card of Hildebrand from FF14 recently, or somebody did anyway, and I thought it was quite fun. The cards in 14 at least are looking like they are fun and good implementations of the mechanics, but also it does sort of fall afoul of the fact that I bought a Magic product, right? With the big asterisk here of I'm not personally buying Magic products. If I'm buying any of the FF stuff, I'm purchasing singles. You know, I'm purchasing aftermarket singles is the thing here. But the card designs are like, hey, we do actually sort of know what these things are. It's not just generic Magic cards, but with a skin. Yeah, I know, right? Two incredibly garbage companies. Wizards of the Coast and Square Enix, together at last. Absolutely, you know. As if they couldn't screw up this already, you know, this already capitalist scumbagish medium badly enough by themselves. Now they gotta come together. And it does pain me a little bit to dunk on Square Enix because, like most of you, and I'm sure that you've noticed my positivity towards most parts of the Final Fantasy franchise, but Square Enix has gotten way too much, you know, of sniffing their own farts recently, and where are my platforms, game? What did you do with my platforms? It's not that I can't keep doing this, it's just getting a little annoying. There we go. Just, man, Square Enix used to be such a good company, at least in terms of their output. I'm sure that their corporate behavior was still quite bad, but the games they made, those were quite solid. So it really depresses me to see the sort of state that they've become now, you know? When they're NFTs, Jesus Christ, man. And for FF7 at that. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't read their own work for a very long time. Here's a joke about Tetsuya Nomura. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know if Square Enix has, like, put out a whole lot of games by themselves lately. Because, you know, other than the Pixel remasters, those came out, like, over a year ago. So that doesn't qualify anymore. That Chrono Cross remaster that's several years old now. Oh, hey, look, there's our final bonus level, and not a moment too soon. That level was quite hard, but I would expect it to be as the final level. Yeah, I mean, that is sort of the part 2 there, right? Is just re-releases of games, that's not real. You didn't do anything, basically. But like, Final Fantasy 15 existed? FF16 existed? They released some sort of shitty Splatoon knockoff that used AI-generated assets. I know that. And I think it's died since then. Anyway, this bonus level is called Chips and Dips, which is obviously a reference to everybody's favorite electronic part, a dip switch. Wait, no, the other... Damn it! I've done it again! Is it weird? No, because I think that... Oh, by the way, the nerd glasses repaired sign. That's fun. I think that most people, even the, like, 3 people who played FF15, would actually like to forget about FF15. It generally seemed like it was a rather tedious game. And you can do whatever with the story, which apparently the story was kind of meh. But not the worst. It certainly was no FF13, apparently, but, apparently it was kind of middle of the road, but no matter what quality of story, you're only going to get so far if your gameplay sucks. And it definitely seemed like a bit of a tedious game from what I was able to ascertain. And
I'll take one of those and some of these.
I apologize if that is not quite the take here. Scuzzy bus stop. That's fantastic. Oh, Scuzzy. Anybody remember Scuzzy ports? You probably do. Because the main thing that I remember before FF15, to be fair, is that I remember a lot of people being hyped for it at least as much as normal. Until people heard about the guy who was like, oh, it's too hard to write for women. Which is almost what it was. Oh, I hope there's a better, like, on-angle shot of that poster somewhere, because that's fun. That, like, that album cover looks like something out of Hypnospace. I mean, yeah, that's kind of fair. Like, why would you play the MSQ of an RPG anyway when you can just get sidetracked by building a house in Skyrim? Holy shit, that poster, that crazy Adrian's Code Warehouse. Oh my god, oh yeah, these are absolutely just dev portraits, dude, but, like, damn, I love stuff like that. That needs to be a thing that comes back in previous games. Tev, I do have Skyrim installed. I will play it at some point. I might play some of it later tonight, after I finish streaming, getting beaten up by a robot, and also a level that might have only been half finished. or something.
It's tail time.
But anyway, we did it. But yeah, FF15 didn't seem to be great. And FF16, I've heard very positive things about FF16, but supposedly FF16 didn't sell, which I'm not sure I believe. But on the other hand, making your game exclusive to the PS5 for that long doesn't seem like it's necessarily healthy for your sales numbers. Oh, anyway, I guess I said earlier that there was only the one Resopolis level, but this one is as well. This is an extra level though, so I assume that this is supposed to be like a bonus thing that's barely finished. This one has 2 red remotes. Ooh, we could be here for a minute. We crossed the TV forest. We don't have to pick up collectibles in this one.
At least I'm not at the DMV.
Welcome to Resopolis. Please die carefully. Thank you, game. At least you said please. This level is gross. At least some of it is. And a lot of the rest of it is just tech. I like this piece of music though. This is pretty good. Also, yes, it's a maze, as you can tell by the name.
Easy.
I'm so happy. It may be guidebook time at some point, but for now, yikes, that actually just drives us across things real fast. I mean, also speaking of shooting yourself in the foot, Square Enix, my voice cracked there. Whew. Square Enix does it twice over because they also do PC exclusivity for like a year with Epic Games Store.
Looks like we got us a fly in the spider's web.
You know, Steam, but more corporate.
Channels and still nothing on.
And even that might be like severely overstating their anything, but also like, man, do y'all remember when Epic was Epic Mega Games and they made Jazz Jackrabbit and that was it? And now look what they've become.
Hello there, my secret friend.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. I can't imagine it's actually good for sales numbers, but I mean, it's platform exclusivity. That is definitely not going to be a thing that's good for your sales numbers no matter what.
It's tail time.
You know, what absolute bozo is like, oh yes, let me do that, and this will be good for the amount of money that we make if we sell to less customers. Only Nintendo can get away with that shit, and that's because their fan base is, you know, absolute fanatics, a lot of them.
Pardon my tongue, darling.
Oh, that... We're in a realm of absolute butt-ass draw distance, everybody. I love it. Oh, wait, no, the other thing. That's not big money or big prizes, so... I don't... Come on.
One for me and one for me.
Actually, speaking of Jazz Jackrabbit, wow, Epic has not, like, re-released that in any way whatsoever, have they, as far as I know? I don't even know if that's purchasable on GOG. And I don't look at GOG either because
Now that's what I call getting some taste.
they get CD Projekt money, and yeah, the CD Projekt can eat my ass too. There's plenty to go around. Anyway, that thing that we just picked up gives us a special video that we can watch, I believe. They apparently exist in all of the other extra levels, hidden levels, whatever you want to call them. So, I didn't find them in the other two, though. Yeah, I mean, sure, it's good work. It's just a real pity about who bankrolls them. It does ultimately kind of come down to, like, one of those, well, how much ethical consumption can you actually do under capitalism? The answer is just pirate somebody else's GOG downloads. Wait. Granted, we also had that conversation earlier when I was discussing the fact that there's that Gex remaster has that hilarious cover. It's probably not going to be worth the money because, like, all told, I would rather give money to Gabe Newell than to CD Projekt. Right? At least that's just me, and I don't necessarily require everybody to agree with me. Especially because, again, let us remember that Gabe Newell is literally a multi-billionaire who lives on a boat. Gabe Newell is a guy who sounds like a fucking supervillain, alright? And yes, I do think that there are some very bad things about Steam overall, like the amount that they offer to developers is not great. They take a huge cut of money, which, again, is probably why Gabe Newell is worth $3 billion. We joke about it being digital hats, but that's probably only like 70% of it or so. But ultimately, yeah, as ever, again, I don't like to openly say on a public stream that piracy good, but also, like, yeah, the only ethical consumption under capitalism is making somebody else do it for you. Wait, no, I don't want to express it that way. That might be even worse. Oh, this level ain't kidding, it's a maze, alright. This is your reward for getting all 12 of the gold remotes in the game? Sheesh. That's just rude. Waiter, there's a maze in my soup. I may just look up the solutions to this one entirely, which, again, I've been trying to do as little of that as possible.
This is where they decided to change code.
And we did get most of the game done without that. On the basis primarily of just memory and stumbling into things. But, I mean,
Welcome to the only thing
ultimately, this sort of comes down to how much would you folks even want to watch me try to navigate a maze like this for the rest of the evening? I mean, I know you watch the rest of this. I know some of you folks watch the rest of the stream, but like, there's a certain level to which this suddenly becomes an actual war crime and not mere torment. The subtle differences between torture and torturous. Man, I'm popping this out and putting it on a separate window real quick. On the other monitor so I can look at it better.
Saving this for you.
Ah, yes, this guide seems to be saying the wrong thing here. Unless we cross, there we go. This is looking a little different. Give me that thing. Also, a lot of, like, graphics with dried blood on them in this level, huh?
What's that, Mr. Bug? Timmy's trapped down a well?
I mean, yeah, pretty much, huh? Just
At least I'm not at the deep
Rez does enjoy some murder, and I mean, take a look at him. He is quite the nasty-looking customer. And we will be taking a fairly close-up look at him pretty soon. Whoa, hey, 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 hey. Alright, maybe doing the tail spring is not necessarily the rightest way of doing that, but... Well, we fixed our problem here. Rotate this way, and... Is this the way that we need to go? I think it is. It feels like... I shouldn't ask questions about going over particularly bumpy terrain here. Stuff to buy. Fantastic. And the sign on the door that says, go away. Wow. They really don't want me to get up there with a single jump, huh? That badly. Alright. Fair enough. I'll just have to be confused, I guess. Hey, thank you for a sub for 69 months. Wow. Incredible. I've been doing this for this long. And an audience still hasn't materialized in front of me. Well, it happens. But thank you, seriously. Oh, hey, we get to see the cutscene just automatically. Perhaps I should go look for those other two.
Lock and load, little lizard.
Ah, it was tiny and not very much. But we do get a new loading screen.
Beam me up, Scotty.
I'll worry about the tapes some other time. I actually completely did not realize those were a thing until I got those. At that.
500 channels and still nothing on.
And by realize, I mean remember. Close enough, really. Alright, now, we did see those blue bridges before. Ouch.
I think you enjoyed that.
Oops. This gets me back here, ouch. It's dead end now.
Slip of the tongue, baby.
Okay, yeah, this brings me over here. There's our ground level camera. Here we go. Yeah. And that leads us to this. I remember that some of these have jumps in them. Like that one. And then this next one as well, I believe. There should be tank controls that make the segment very enjoyable. I'd say that's terrible, but, I mean... Listen, it wouldn't be the worst idea that has ever come up in a Gex game, so... Ah, boo. It's alright, I didn't want to do this in one go either. Ow. That was just bad play on my part, but still. It's fine. I don't really think this is a section where health is the thing that's going to keep us going here. It's going to come down strictly to reflexes. So I know that there is an RC car in the Ape Escape franchise as a doodad you can... Damn it! Whew, I'm playing this like shit. That there is an RC car that you can get to control in the Ape Escape games. But I don't remember if it was in Ape Escape 1. Because, unfortunately, my Ape Escape 1 knowledge is quite low. I mean, I'm playing Gex on the Duck anyway. I should just play Ape Escape 1 through that. But I do remember that there was the RC car in Ape Escape 2, and I believe it was tank controlled. Because Ape Escape 2 was just kind of like... What if Ape Escape 1, but not quite as good, ultimately? Also, we changed the character, and all the voice actors are people from the Pokemon anime. Like, literally just doing the voices of their Pokemon anime characters.
So, this is where they decided to change code.
Which... I mean, you could do worse than that, but this was also happening at a time where I was kind of at the most like, man, the Pokemon anime, you know, the Pokemon anime ultimately is fine. Apparently there's some parts of it that are actually like really good.
At least I'm not at the DMV.
I don't know if Alan is still in the chat, but hey, you were at the DMV lately. How long was of a wait was that? Usually the DMV wait is less bad if you don't live like in the big city. Is the one thing I can tell you. Because I live out in, not quite literally the middle of nowhere, but, you know, kind of on the outskirts of civilization. Almost. That might be stretching it a little bit. But it's a small town, and there's DMV here, and I've never had to wait for, you know, getting my ID renewed or anything. And by never had to wait, I should probably say that, like, never had to wait long, I guess. Meanwhile, I've definitely, you know, been around when my brother was in line at the DMV back in Chicago to get his driver's license, and he was waiting in that line for fucking hours. Tav, I'm really starting to feel like every sort of, like, vaguely government-ish service in your town is actually just a comedy routine that's come to life somehow. Because you're telling me about this, and you've told me about how shit your post office experiences have been. As I'm just able to be like, yeah, somehow I lucked out and didn't have to deal with that. Yeah, okay, fair. That probably will make things a little bit worse, is... red county in a blue state, so... they're trying extra hard to fuck it over. What the fuck is that thing? Oh, it left. Okay, good. Thank you. God, the noise. Alright, well, you know what? Before we go and fight the boss, let's go get these two tapes that are in these levels, because I'm pretty sure they're actually not that hard, although one of them takes a while, possibly. Possibly.
The real estate wizardry of Tom Vu at work.
Possibly. What could possibly go wrong? As we're all looking at you know, the Bubsy collection being a fucking limited run product, and we're going, I don't know, dude, what could possibly go right? Now that I'm done choking on my words, for at least until the next time I decide to speak. Ah.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Oh, hey, it's literally just right down there. I thought there was going to be some sort of actual thing I had to do. Now, I can just exit level with this, right? I can also exit frame rate with it. Wait.
There's plenty more where this came from.
Okay. Well, let's find out, because otherwise, if I have to go through that whole level, that might be a bit of a bumpy ride. Isn't there supposed to be a way to replay these? Oh, I have to actually beat the level to get these. Well... fine, you know what? You guys just go look them up on YouTube. Where you can see them in probably a lower bitrate, which is actually going to make them funnier, I'm sure. I know, right? Isn't this streamer trying to make an audience? Or keep an audience? Audience response? Joke that I didn't finish. Whatever, we're gonna go fight a final boss here. Let's see what you've got, Rez. What you can do to us. You can make us navigate a level first. Hmm? God, I love the aesthetic and the sound and everything for these res levels. So nasty. such a shift from the rest of the game. Fuck. Wah. Fuck. Well, that's a tiny platform, I guess, apparently. Here we go. Step into the light, and... he doesn't seem to be too impressed by that. Is this... Are we gonna have to, like, bullfight him into the lightning field or something? What? Hello! Good morning! He shoots rockets at us, and then he does that. That's right, we gotta avoid his Stinger missiles. And then get him to charge into an electric field. At least that part is pretty easy so far. I mean, the missiles make me nervous, but those don't seem to be the super hardest yet, but maybe he'll change that up in a second. Although 3 hits, that's probably him gonna rotate his pattern. This is where he's switching into a second form, huh? And just like many final bosses, he gets huge. And when are we allowed to slap him in the... Ah, I see. So, we got a lot to dodge here. Starting with his arm swipe. And then lasers. And then we gotta make him use his own boss arena to hurt himself. You know, classic final boss things. Let's drop a big fucking TV on him, right? Perfect idea. Oh, where's the... Okay, now things are heating up because he's only letting that switch last for 1 fist slam. Ouch. Stay as far back as possible. Holy God, you are kidding me, right? I mean, we could have had it if it weren't for the fact that the game decided to so rudely spawn that all the way over there. I had to make an absolute bull run for that, and I got my ass kicked for it. Ooh. Alright, so we can kind of discern where he's at based on where the missiles are coming from. Because he moves while he's firing his Stinger missiles, which is kind of impressive, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Snake can't do that. But I wonder if those like position readings or anything on his HUD are actually accurate to anything. But I'm certainly in no condition to go find that out. Yes, yes, yes. Cutscene in the middle of the fight. I get it. Ouch. Get out of that shit. Oh, oh boy. This does not bode super well for us, but we're trying, damn it. Really? All right, dude, sure. I started to jump off a little too early, and he's like, yeah, by the way, I'm gonna... Okay, good, that counts. Alright. Shit. I don't really think I could have gone for that anyway, because it's kind of far away. Whoa. Alright, so... Get off my jock. There we go. All right.
When is Grace Jones gonna retire?
He's back to talking about Grace Jones. I know, I'm pretty sure she's still going, actually. Come to think of it. Still has a career. It's more than I can say for you, Gex.
You, sir, are aboard.
Oh, damn it. I was pretty close, but not quite. At least so far, his arm swipes are easy. Probably jinxing myself to say that, but... Fuck. The slams kind of suck, though, but... Actually, realistically, the part of this boss that just sucks entirely is the fact that which of those switches you need to lure him into hitting is completely random, which is a bit of a problem when it becomes... Shut up. When it becomes completely unfeasible to actually get to most of them during the length of his entire attack pattern. And by entire attack pattern, I mean the entire part of the attack pattern when those are visible. Also, wow, good job, me. I got hit during this phase, which, like... At this point, I probably shouldn't be doing. This part of the fight is quite easy. I say getting hit by a missile again. And then failing to... Ooh, boy. I'm actually taking a mulligan on that one entirely because fuck you, game. Just gets that mildly annoyed about it. Listen. It is quite hard to get that hit off of the first dash. And now I'm just doing this part badly too. This is kind of sad, actually. But I'm also like just increasingly frustrated thinking about that second part of the fight, because that's certainly designed in a way. At least the first part of this phase is pretty easy. Now, of course, for phase 2 is I start choosing to go the long way to do this. So I guess here I am gonna hope that the one that is over here is the one that he chooses to raise. Okay, not quite, but another one that's very close was the chosen one. Ow, fuck. I got too close to his retracting arm. That was unfortunate. Here we are at phase 3. Please, RNG, show me a little bit of mercy here. Come on. Oh, yeah, that's a no-go. Shit! Unfortunately, we were, like, right there, but I didn't have enough... I kind of didn't have enough health to pull off what I wanted to do there. Because this fight sucks. Well, at least that one part of the fight sucks. The rest of the fight is fine. But wow, they really don't give you enough time for how big that arena is. I mean, to be fair, I think a big part of it to me is just like, wow, it's RNG at all. It's the final boss, come on. There we go. We actually got him on the first charge, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, just be moving when you starts this pattern. I said be moving, not be movie. Not that B movie either. You like jazz? I was gonna say, have we gotten hit at all yet? And we have. But only just there, which is kind of a shock. Fuck! I was close. I was close. Alright, come on, game. Enough of the horse shit. Let's... Well, there's the horse shit. Never mind. Game's back to normal. And by back to normal, I mean it's been in the same place as usual. Got him? He's only 3 hits in this phase, hopefully? Yeah, undone by the very thing that he was. Words.
Gex, it is me, your father.
Oh.
How can you be my father?
It's true. I didn't always look like this. I fell into a scrap heap while trying to get free cable.
And your point is?
I'll get it. It's a reference.
No! No! Don't do it! I'll do anything. I know Tarantino's Gardner's fiance. I could probably get you a meeting.
Okay then, Dad. How's about we forget all this and go play catch in the yard?
If you're anything like my dad, that won't end. Is that Nikki from Pandemonium 2? I only know that because I looked that up at some point.
Dad.
Clock says party time.
Well, there you go. The ending of Gex Enter the Gecko, everybody. Gex fucks a human.
Sweet, like candy.
Huh. Well,
Let's get it on.
then again, they did make him kind of like decently horny for a human being in Gex 3, if I recall correctly. Their banter was a little bit yeah. Anyway, that's Gex Enter the Gecko. It is most of a pretty good game. Was that Metal Gear Rex? I don't think it was quite. It was just a robot of a fairly generic type that ended up resembling Metal Gear Rex a little bit because of similar body shape or something. So this game's pretty alright by 3D platformer standards. I actually like it, I think, more than most of the big ones that we've played on the channel. It's quite solid, even with Gex talking constantly and making all of these very 1980s references. So, like, clearly this was aimed at an audience older than the 8 years old I was when I played it the first time. And I feel that maybe the character kind of deserves to be remembered the way he is, but the game itself, no, this is quite playable. I feel like, you know, if this kicks off as a thing that people pick back up and has real sales, they should hire me on as a screenwriter for a potential Gex 4. All right, listen to this. So, my idea here is that, like, Gex, after this game and after Gex 3, he's sort of acquired a bit of a reputation for his skills of secret agentry. Apparently, this is something you can have a reputation for. But he's retired out of the game, has been for like 25 years. And then suddenly he gets a mysterious call from an unknown person and he decides, you know what? One last job. This guy is offering me a suspiciously large amount of money. Let's do it. Except that what you do is secretly that you accidentally plant some sort of like a seed, I guess would be the term of some sort, that allows Rez to rebuild the media dimension even though TV is borderline dead. And everybody just starts flocking out to go purchase televisions. And they start watching, you know, through regular TV sources constantly, not even subscription or anything. And then ultimately you have to go back and go in and kick Rez's ass as you realize, oh, hey, I've been bamboozled by this guy. And of course, ultimately, blah, blah, blah. If we want to talk about any sort of, yeah, I'm basically pitching something that's like, hey, the present day with the streaming services and the internet video is all good stuff, even though obviously that sucks just as much as anything else. especially anything else that's corporate owned. But listen, nobody who's making a Gex game cares about message, all right? They just ended this game with Gex about to fuck a human girl. So, truth be told, they're really just, you know, going through the motions of anything like that. And 90% of this script is references to celebrities that none of the kids in the audience have ever heard of. So, whatever. And I can make references to things after I look them up on WikiQuote and stuff. Whatever, we beat the game. Unfortunately, we didn't find those last two tapes because the levels that those are in are rat bastards, and it would take us like another half hour each to get those. But I could give it a shot. And let me just say excuse me for the horrible noise I was making there. Yeah, see, we only have 98%. And there's not enough meat on this reptile's bones for there to do a whole other stream of this. You out of your damn mind? I do still have my lives, right? Yeah, okay. So at least I can do that. So let's do this one first because it's easier. I guess.
This is where Tarzan comes for a schwitz.
Slip of the tongue.
Right, yeah. The human in Gex 3 is like portrayed by an actual human. The one in the ending of this game is just Nikki from Pandemonium 2. Which Pandemonium was also a Crystal Dynamics franchise. So, I mean, fair, I guess. No, it's definitely a different character. So this isn't even the first human woman that Gex has had a thing for. Well, asterisk backwards, and blah, 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 whatever. Get this goofy egg thing out of here. Where's... Oh yeah, that guy. I just jumped that badly. Regardless, Gex 3 will happen at some point, but it's probably not going to be the next game I play.
For 100, Alex.
I feel like I might need something a little... Well... Okay, I guess what can I say of I need something a little different to balance this out? That's a load of horse shit because I did just recently play Riven, right? So, in terms of the order of what things have been going on the channel, also, we just fell to the very beginning of the level. That's cruel and unusual, game. You know, I can't be like, oh, I need something less execution heavy because the last thing I played before this was fucking Riven. That's not exactly what you would call a game that involves much execution.
It's a spicy meatball.
Like, I think even the original Myst had something that was timing based. Although my memory is kind of butt right now, so. So as much as I'd like to be like, yeah, I definitely need something with less execution, that that's probably just a general purpose, like, yeah, I would like something, you know, that's easier on me and my rank and competence. Because before that, we played Crash 4, and before that, we played Crash 4. Which isn't a joke about how much extra stuff there is for 100% completion in Crash 4. It's a joke on the fact that I played Wrath of Cortex, and before that I played the Crash Bandicoot 4 that's actually called Crash Bandicoot 4. Oh yeah, there's actually nothing over here. Right.
And this is just one of the 40,000 rooms in Aaron Spelling's house.
Fuck. So yeah, I don't know what I'll play next, but it'll be a video game, alright? Wow, that still didn't get me up there. That's probably just me jumping badly, really, but still. A thing that I like just consistently about this game is how the textures will warp around certain things and it will make them look like they're animated, but they're not actually. It's just jank from the camera angles. That's fun. No, fucking hell, that's a awful jump. I don't remember that being so bad. But I'm also probably considering, like, not considering if you can actually stick to walls off of your jump kick. Because in the back of my brain, I'm like, you can't do that. Fuck. Well, we got a one-up out of the deal. Oops. Well, at least I haven't fallen in the lavas. Never mind. Didn't say so I have an extra hit, but not anymore. Spoke too soon and all that. Didn't even finish speaking too soon anyway. That's not a good way to test if that works. Wait a second. Is this what I did before? This doesn't seem like what I did before, but... No, this must have been what I did before. That's fine. I don't know that you have to hit that checkpoint every time. In fact, I highly doubt you do, but still. Whoa. Hey. Land on a platform, Gex. There's a dark area behind that lava fall. I don't know if I can actually, like, get through it. But it definitely looks like there's some sort of cave entry over there. Okay, we can get on here. It's interesting.
That's not in the script.
Gex, you're in an awful position, my dude. Okay, no, that's just a fucking wall. Okay, so that's not that helpful.
Trapped on the water, fire in the sky.
Not much going on with that archway.
Memo to Gilligan. Try building a raft.
Because what I read is that it's in this area and it has something to do with a magma fall, so... Well... Something about, oh... Magma is only when it's underground. Yeah, you're correct, sorry. Whoops. Whoop. Oh, hey, that jerk.
And this is just one of the 40,000 rooms in Aaron's spelling house.
The swan-like grace of a young Nixon. That's... fantastic. Oh, shit. They're pulling up for better instructions here.
convenient. Those programmers think of everything.
Thank you, Bubsy. Yeah, I was thinking of the bit where he goes, "Aren't these game designers wonderful?" in Bubsy 3D. So that's why I almost said Bubsy. I could be anywhere if you're not a coward, Gex. Alright, so...
Fire in the hole!
There, I see the wall stick place over there. I just have to actually get back to that on this life.
Well, it's Bungo in the jungle.
Oh, I got that reference. He made it before, I just didn't hear it entirely. I get it, it's a Jethro Tull reference. That's a very good band by featuring a lot of very old fellows. Their first album came out in 1968 and they're going on tour again next year. God damn. Ian Anderson simply cannot be stopped, apparently. Until he can. In which case, well, then what I've just said should be disregarded. Being obviously false. Ah! Shit, I keep hitting the wrong R button. For some reason, my brain is like, hey, yeah, Duck is on R1. I might be thinking of other, like, platformers at this point. Ratchet and Clank, for example, I think had that as part of the control scheme.
The difference between this and Hades is there's no Kathy Lee Gifford.
Damn it. God, this is like really... I've done this already. I just didn't know there was this fucking collectible, so... I've gotten through that before, so that bothers me slightly. The timings on these platforms just seems really messed up right now. I don't know if it is worse than usual. In fact, it probably isn't, but it definitely feels like it. Dude, I was pressing that button and he didn't do it the first time. So that one is no longer on me. Seriously? Gex, get out from under there. They really just put that piece of texture there to fuck with you. Like, at first I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then afterwards, suddenly it's like, no, it's just evil. Here we go. Alright, this is the hidden path we were looking for. And it is dark as fuck in here, because... Good. I see the TV thing right under that statue. That TV thing, what am I talking about? Sorry.
Memo to Gilligan. Try building a raft.
Come on. What the? It clipped me out of the level. It didn't even give me a chance to save my own self with the lava. Come on.
Programmers think of everything.
I cannot be held responsible for that, surely. That's not the normal behavior. That's not correct. That's wrong. Game. Ah, yes, this is a very functional piece of software. Well, at least it didn't push me out of the level that time. Otherwise, I would have been very upset because, once again, you saw me duck too late there because apparently there's a very big lag on that. Is it because of how I'm like using the controller? Because see, it's working fine there. Is it because I'm like pushing my R2, L2 buttons all the way down? Asterisk, I'm using a PS4 controller, and as I mentioned before, I'm playing this through DuckStation. So there may be some sort of interaction there with how the controls are set up or something. Or how much it does or does not like those pressure sensitivity on the buttons or whatever. Alright. Fuck.
And now, a lot of tailing.
I mean, I guess I'm glad I didn't just die, but that still is problematic. That doesn't get me to the safe zone. All right. God, there really is like no clearance there between the land and the rock. Incredible.
You cut up his brain, you bloody baboon!
Oh, I get it. I'm pretty sure that's a Planet of the Apes reference. Wasn't that so worth it, everybody? Well, again, let's take a crack at the last one.
It's tail time.
'Cause, yeah, why not? God damn, I wish I had known about these when I was playing this the first time. Otherwise, ugh.
Reminds me of Halloween at Rip Taylor's. This is what Tim Burton thinks about when he's in the tub. It's tail time.
There's plenty more where this came from.
Taste my tail!
File this under ouch.
All right, now I gotta sort of reorient myself around what I'm doing in this level, because my...
Getting a floating furniture field of 3,327 to 1.
My recollection is not the nicest, really. I don't need that health.
Who forgot to pay the gravity bill?
I mean, in theory, I suppose I could take it and store it, but... That's fine, I will not bother, basically. Okay. Squish that thing. Get on this. Don't need that health either.
Need it, need it, need it.
Well, so far this is going shockingly smoothly, considering I remember being awful at this level. I said so far, it's not a complete jinx. Can't change my... They can't change the past. Probably.
Pardon my tongue, darling.
How this is going, I'm going back for the health just to top off, and because ultimately it seems like I can probably get away with that.
Pat, I'll take the floating chair for 200 and the rest on account.
Oh, what a waste of my time. Good job. Which I'm sure is what most of you think about my streams in general, but... Alright. Come here, Chucky. There we go. Ah! Camera. There we go.
The Imperial fleet would never follow us into a floating furniture field.
Yeah, this is where things are gonna get a little bit spicy. But that time, we actually managed to get away with getting that health really easily. What's the next part?
Place is bigger than Drew Carey's bar tab.
Actually, one of the... Oh, right. Where they're doing this weird and befuddling motion. Camera? My God. Maybe giving the camera collision was a bad idea, guys. Alright, here we got the rolling coffins, which is entirely safe. It's the absolutely safe capsule here.
A little tongue now, a lot of tail later.
Well, I'm surprised we got through that so effectively, because usually I just kind of suck at those, but hey, why not? Let's not complain. Be surprised, sure, but complain? Ugh. Good lord, stop that.
Neverland. You'd never guess it from the outside.
Crap. Get out of here, Chucky. I'm not interested. That's right. Enough of that Charles Entertainment cheese. I'm talking to you.
Chair for 200 and the rest on account.
Apparently. Okay. Then there's like another section after this that's really stupid, isn't there?
Reminds me of Halloween at Rip Taylor's.
That's not right. Is this really just here? Do I have to go a different way for that? Oh, right. Okay, so there's this pattern. Oh, right. This, I think this is the end, actually. Yeah, I saw the green button. It definitely looked like the thing that was the end.
Slip of the tongue.
Wow, I got through that like super easy today. I was struggling with that yesterday. Holy shit.
Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
Wasn't that just so worth your time, guys? Whatever, we were going for 100%. We may as well. Now, I feel like my numbers are a little off here. Let me go through and make sure that we have everything. Okay, yeah, I was also getting quite nervous after I, like, quit out of those levels and I didn't save the tape. That suddenly maybe I had not gotten a couple of the silver remotes. But there we go, everybody. That is Gex Enter the Gecko 100%. I'm going to reset to make sure that I can actually show you 100% on the load screen. And we get to watch this again. Isn't this fun? The answer is usually yes.
Since coming through.
There's not so many collectibles that, like, 2 of them won't probably... Oh, oops. I thought I would have had to The fuck do you mean I still need 2 more percent? What? What am I possibly missing? Alright, Wiki. It's time for you to... It's time for you to do some explaining. You got some splaining to do. Etc. I saved the one time the game would allow me. Fortunately, that's not much, so... is there something that'll tell me, like, how many things there are to collect in the game? Well, so we got all the remotes because we got the special ending. So, and we got all 3 of the tapes. So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what to tell you. What an incredibly strange note to end the stream on.